Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. I'm Corey Quinn and I am back from the AWS Summit in New York. There was a lot of stuff to take in there, provided you're into AI. If you're not, there apparently was also a lot of stuff to take in, but my God, did you have to go looking for it? Let's go diving in and see what AWS came out with. One that I just found out when getting ready to record this is that Amazon EBS now provides visibility into EBS volume initialization status. That's amazing. Why did I have to discover it this way? I've wanted that sort of thing for years. What is it doing was sort of a logical question to ask.
This episode is brought to you by Augment Code. You're a professional software engineer. Vibes won't cut it. Augment Code is the only AI assistant built for real engineering teams. It ingests your entire repo, millions of lines, tens of thousands of files, several of databases, so every suggestion lands in context and keeps you in flow. With Augment's context engine, get instant answers about any part of your code base. Need to understand how authentication flows through your microservices? Ask once, get the complete picture across every service and dependency. Where other tools stall, Augment Code sprints. And Augment Code never trains on your code, so your team's intellectual property stays yours. Augment works in your favorite editors, so you don't have to switch tooling. Keep using VS Code, JetBrains, Android Studio, or even my beloved Vim. Don't hire an AI for vibes. Get the agent that knows you and your code base best. Start your 14-day free trial at augmentcode.com.
Amazon EKS now supports up to 100,000 worker nodes per cluster, which I will now say a version of the same thing I say whenever I see an enormous car taking up 2 parking spots. Your cluster is too big. The Amazon S3 console now displays an external access summary for all of your buckets. This feels like it's an evolution of the, hey, the bucket is public, and even though it's called static assets, we're going to call that a problem. S3 metadata now supports existing objects instead of just net new, and it reduces its price by up to a third, which is interesting combined with the fact that S3 tables has also reduced its compaction costs by up to 90%. It feels like either customers were complaining about the pricing or else they discovered how customers are actually using this thing and decided to optimize for that, and it doesn't cost as much to run as they think. The difference between those two approaches comes purely down to how grasping for margin/competitive positioning versus doing right by customers you believe AWS is being here. There's really no wrong answer. It's sort of a choose your own adventure story. S3 Vectors in preview is the first cloud object storage with native support for storing and querying vectors. Great. I've talked to a whole bunch of people and not a single one was able to tell me, at least on the customer side, is this storing the data itself or just the vector embeddings for the data? Because at 6 cents a gigabyte, it's over twice as expensive as S3 standard. Is that a problem? Is it not? I don't know. I guess we're going to learn. I feel like at this point, not a lot of folks in the customer space are really that solid on what vectors are. Lord knows I'm sure not. They launched a bunch of MCP servers for the AWS API, for AWS Knowledge, for the AWS price list. Great. That's awesome because now, instead of clearly documenting things, they can just hope the LLM will do it for us. That's interesting for those of us living in AI land, which unfortunately now is all of us. Welcome to hell. The AWS cost anomaly detection improved its accuracy with model enhancements, which is a little strange to me, just on the basis of that service is awesome. Was anyone asking for this? It has detected things I couldn't find and I went looking for them. The anomaly detector is phenomenal. It's an underappreciated AWS service, and now apparently it's even more accurate than its already extreme degree of accuracy. Well, okay. AWS fixed the free tier, finally. I did a whole spiel on this. Now it basically gives you $200 in credits and a 6-month-long free plan to explore it at no cost. It locks billing. That's amazing.
This episode is sponsored by my own company, the Duckbill Group. Having trouble with your AWS bill? Perhaps it's time to renegotiate a contract with them. Maybe you're just wondering how to predict what's going on in the wide world of AWS. Well, that's where the Duckbill Group comes in to help. Remember, you can't duck the Duckbill bill, which I am reliably informed by my business partner is absolutely not our motto.
I mentioned it earlier, but S3 metadata now supports metadata for all of your S3 objects, which is handy. You don't have to just do the new uploaded stuff. That's going to be big if you want people to start taking advantage of it. That's a good thing. They introduced something called Amazon Bedrock Agent Core, which I can't get past the fact that sounds like a very niche category of adult entertainment, so I don't want to touch that on a business-targeted podcast. Windows 10 end of support is almost here. Run Windows 11 on Amazon Workspaces, which would be great if I wanted to use Windows for anything other than gaming. I'm fortunate enough to not have to do that. Proven practices for succeeding with a multi-cloud strategy. And looking through it, I'm actually kind of on board with what they say. I was expecting this to be a embrace AWS above all else. And the only one that seems self-serving is the last one, which is embrace an 80-20 approach over equal distribution. You should have a primary and then a bunch of secondaries. Yeah, that one you could debate that is self-serving, but it's not a terrible pattern. I am surprisingly happy with everything that just came out on this. Good work. And finally, they're updating the exam and giving a new name for the Cloud Operations Certificate in the near future. They're changing SysOps to Cloud Ops, and they're updating a bunch of the certs for SOA CO2 to SOA CO3. And because remember, these certificates are super important that you need to be able to remember and regurgitate trivia in an era where everyone's asking AI to do these things for them anyway. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn, and I'm still dealing with a hell of a jet lag problem.